Look, these premiers are not covering themselves in glory, are they? We had pathetic interstate rivalry over vaccines yesterday.
What I didn't know was that Premier Berejiklian's in a sprint while the rest of us are supposed to do some sort of egg and spoon thing. No, we want our fair share. These allocations, which are totally unfair and were under the table, need to stop, and we need to get a make good. We need to get those doses that we didn't get fast-tracked to us.
I mean, this bloke got extra vaccines for his state when it was in strife. Victoria got all kinds of help from other states and Canberra when it was in real strife last year. That's how a nation operates. New South Wales has provided the path back to Australia for most people wanting to come home from overseas and going into hotel quarantine, including all the Victorians when Andrews shut down his international flights last year. So, you know, no state has chipped in for the others more than New South Wales throughout this pandemic. But we see petulant displays like that from the premiers. I mean, I keep asking this, but what have we become in this country? And Annastacia Palaszczuk again yesterday. What was her response to those heartbreaking, ridiculous and internationally embarrassing scenes on Father's Day at the New South Wales-Queensland border when people divided by the hard borders had to catch up across the barricades at Coolangatta and Tweed Heads? Well, the Queensland Premier didn't sound too sympathetic.
We are still seeing lots of people, though, hugging and kissing on that border at the Gold Coast.
Well, that's putting people at risk.
Yeah.
It is putting people at risk.
How absurd. Just paranoid and ridiculous. She's talking about a disease we're all going to encounter eventually and for which most of us have already had a jab. Palaszczuk is also under fire over more cases of heartlessness, such as this chronically ill baby boy whose parents want to drive home from Sydney to their regional Queensland property to self-isolate, but they're being told they have to fly and go into hotel quarantine for 2 weeks. And then there's the Australian military personnel who risk their lives, people who risk their lives to rescue others from Afghanistan, and they've been delayed now in Dubai waiting for permission and arrangements to return home to Queensland. The Queensland Health Minister claimed she was on the case.
I've put in a call to Peter Dutton. I wasn't able to get through. I've sent a text to Peter Dutton this morning asking him to call me. I have not heard from him.
She even showed reporters the text message she'd sent to the Defence Minister. Only trouble is, Dutton never received the text. Darth had been texting the wrong number. But never mind any of that bungling or the hardships imposed on people trying to get into Queensland. The Queensland Premier was able to make an announcement today about the NRL finals.
Never in my lifetime did I think that we would have an NRL grand final here in Queensland, and finally that's happened.
Annastacia Palaszczuk's Queensland. Heartless one day, yucking it up the next.